through William Floyd, bar none. They made a candy bar after William Floyd. But anyway, ran through William Floyd, tackled Amp Lee for a 7-yard loss on the goal line.
Yeah.
And it held them to a field goal. And that's, we won the game 17-16. Had they scored, I don't know if we would have won the game. Now, mind you, they kept trying to say that I gave up the play to allow them to get down on the goal line in the first place. But that was Ryan McNeil. Go back and look at the play, Ryan.
Yeah.
You know you're supposed to have to cover that dude out there because it was quarters coverage. You didn't see Amp Lee run to the sideline. So you messed up that play, Ryan. But that's cool. I got you back. That's how we Hurricanes do.
Yeah. Yeah, Stephen McGuire had 22 carries, 142 yards. Yeah, he definitely had a big game. And the thing about your teams back then, y'all knew how to win the fourth quarter. That was trailing 16-7, and Jerry Thomas, missed that field goal. And the thing is that another thing that stands out in that game is Horace Copeland caught a 9-yard pass on 4th down and 6. That was a huge play. That was the play of the game.
On Terrell Buckner?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was
Terrell, we down inside in the low red zone area, and Buck is backed off. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. All he had to do was, turn around and catch the ball for 6 yards. I mean, wow. And we got the first down.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure that, it was something that they learned from it. But Horace was that type of threat now. Because Horace was a dude, bro. Horace was 6'4", 210 pounds, and he was just one solid muscle and ran a legit low 4.4, high 4.3. He was a freakish athlete. So you had to respect him that way. Because if you come up and play him on the line of scrimmage, there's a good chance he's going to beat you for a touchdown over the top. So he backed off of him thinking, hey, look, I'm going to squat on it. And, he just, he misread it, I guess. I don't know what he was. But either way, that allowed us to go ahead and win the game.
All right, Larry Jones, the fullback, scored a touchdown, the freshman, for 1 yard. And then on the last drive of the game, defensively, I had the pass interference call on Ryan McNeil. Kind of face guard, he covered him well. I think Terrell, that was the receiver. Then he face guarded and got a penalty flag. So they deep in your territory. So obviously the kick. Where were you during that time when Jerry Thomas missed the kick from 34 yards and went wide to the right? Where were you was you on the sideline? Was you on the defense where you had to block it, the kick? Talk about that.
I was actually on the field, and I was inside of Darrell Williams. I was on the tackle at the time, and going in, when the ball was snapped or whatever, we all ran, and nobody knew what was going on until because I'm on the field, so I'm like, I didn't get a chance to see it until everybody starts, screaming, yelling. You see, how our sideline was reacting, so we knew we had missed it. It was a chip shot. I mean, it was one of those things where we felt if we didn't block it, that he was going to make it, and for him to miss that. But again, it comes down to pressure. I mean, you're talking the University of Miami, Florida State, 1 and 2. This game, whoever wins this game will probably win the national championship. And you're talking 65, 70,000 people in the stands. That's a lot of pressure. We were used to that pressure. Carlos Huerta would have made that field goal. We were used to that pressure because we're used to our coaches putting that type of pressure on us. So having to please that 65,000 was nothing like having to please Jimmy Johnson. So it is what it is. He missed it. We won the national championship. But again, we put that type of pressure on guys like that. That mystique of being a Miami Hurricane, winning all those national championships, playing in that particular game in Florida State at Doak Campbell Stadium, on a Saturday afternoon. That's a lot of pressure. I wouldn't wish that on nobody. But I'm glad he was the guy that got it because we ended up winning. But it's I'm 51 years old, and I can still sit here and talk about stuff like that. That's a blessing. Just to be a part of it is a true blessing.
Okay, so y'all won the national championship. Y'all shut out Nebraska 22-0, the national champions. Once again, 4 national championships in a 9-year stretch. Is that like one of the greatest runs of all time? You look at the totality of college football and the history of the game. That's the best ever because I was always in it during that period of time from '83 to '91. Talk about that.
It was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. It will right now. Alabama's the closest thing to that. University of Alabama with Nick Saban is the closest thing to having that type of dynasty, and they've won it a few times. But to dominate college football the way that we did at that particular time is arguably one of the best dynasties in college football and any sport because we truly dominated that the sport in that particular time. So and just knowing that that's what we did, that's what we accomplished. I mean, that's the greatest feeling in the world. And at that particular time, mind you, we didn't know what we were doing. We were just following our coaches' leads. Well, I talked to a bunch of guys that were there with Howard Snellenberger before I got there, and they talked about how he demanded perfection. He held his team to a certain standard, and those young men passed that on to those younger guys. And when Jimmy came in, Jimmy was able to take that and again add to it and created an even higher standard. And again, it came back to the older guys that had learned that from the Hurricanes before them, and we just kept passing that on. And so we just felt that, hey, look, in order to be a part of this is what we're going to demand from you. And because we had so much love and respect for our teammates, our older brothers, we want to make sure that they knew we appreciated that, and we weren't going to leave that. We were trying to leave it better than what we found it. You handed it to me, I'm going to hand it to Casey Greer, Terrence Harris, and let these guys go out there and have success and be successful. The Warren Sapps, the Ray Lewises. We're going to teach y'all what we're going to teach these guys what those older guys taught us. And man, I'm telling you, when you can look back, I'll talk to Sapp and Ray now today, and I look back at some of the times that we spent together way back then, and it's like, dude, you know what, man, I truly love you. I love you. I know what you were when you were 17, 18 years old coming into the University of Miami. I remember when Warren Sapp had a little on the court, and Ray Lewis didn't have but a couple of pair of pants that he came to school with. Warren Sapp, Rohan Marley, and living in the same dorm room, or Sapp playing his video game and stuff like that. But you see that with those young guys, Jonathan Harris, Derek Harris, there's a whole bunch of them. Ryan Collins, I mean, there's just too many of them to name. And I apologize that I can't name everybody, but all of these young buddies, my young brothers, that came into the University of Miami at that particular time, then 30 years later, you look back on them, they were little kids, man. They were babies. And to see the success that they've had, you just sit back and you're like, wow, that's absolutely amazing to be able to be a part of the growth and maturity and success. Warren Sapp, Hall of Famer, Ray Lewis, Hall of Famer. These are guys that when they came into college, I'm telling them this is how we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. Dexter Seeger, Jesse Armstead, Darren Smith, Mike Barrow, Coleman Bell, all of these guys, man. And again, all we did was just pass on a legacy of work ethic. This is how Hurricanes work, and this is what we need to do. And they did it. And a lot of those guys, man, have been extremely successful. And no matter what they do, and that was that Thursday night meeting with Jimmy when we were playing against a team that was, we were far more superior than. That meeting wasn't about football. That meeting was about life. And these are the lessons that we were able to learn and lessons we were able to teach our young brothers.
Right. Portion is over. Thank you for your time. Now we're going to get to the quiz. Message you about the Miami Hurricane quiz. I'm going to test your knowledge of the history of
Conley.
No, Stephen McGuire.
Oh, that was greedy. Oh, going it.
All right, number 3. How many former Hurricanes have been the number 1 overall pick of the NFL draft? Is it A, 2, B, 3, C, 4, or D, 5?
Oh, wow. They should pull my hurricane call for not knowing this one.
Rashad, you
Russell
have
Maryland was one.
Correct.
Rashad,
Huh?
do you have
Let's say
ear
2.
bugs or ear plugs or ear?
2. Right. All right. 4th question.
Yeah, I have some. Yeah, I only got one for me.
1990 Sugar Bowl.
I was asking, do you have any?
I don't have extras, but
I know one.
I just have it. Yeah.
No, I haven't listened to something. I haven't listened to music since I've been here. I want to listen.
Last question. When did
And
the
I'm
tradition
all
of
earbuds
players
just for
taking
tonight.
the field
I want to listen to Teddy Pendergrass and Marvin Gaye tonight.
1950s,
That's it.
1960s, or the 1970s?
Oh, man, that's tough. I'm going to say the 70s.
50s.
The 50s?
Yeah. 1950s.
Wow.
Yeah, that's no run, no smoke.
Wow. Well, you taught me a few things today. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You say the CTE is real.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you for your time, man. Thank you for being on the show. I appreciate it. I was late, but it's worth it. Wait,
I got a few more pieces of chicken if you want it.
definitely represent yourself.
Right.
When people can contact you.
I was hitting you.
Shoot, the best way to contact me is on Facebook.
In the morning.